the rest of that. Just on the principle of, I think a lot of people in America saw that yesterday. Anthony Davis coming back and thought, well, why exactly? What was your reaction?
What people are equating it to is from 2 years ago. Remember when they shut Luka and Kyrie down at the end of the year to jockey themselves to get a lottery pick? I think they're still going to get a lottery pick. I think that's the reality. I think from Anthony Davis, he's looking at it, man, we got 8 guys out there. And if I'm 90% healthy, I'm going to go out there and play, and at least it's a minutes restriction. I don't think he plays tonight, which is against the Knicks here. Yeah. But I think it is good to see him out there. It's funny because, listen, they've been the piñata. I mean, they've been a piñata here. And I think just to have him out there to show this is what we got as part of the trade and this is what it could be for next year. It's not about this year. It's about next year.
Well, there's been so much bad luck. Whatever it is you think of the trade. Well, look, I haven't had you here. Is it too early to say the Lakers won?
Oh, stop.
Stop what?
Stop. The Lakers won the trade.
The Lakers won the trade.
That's not even a debate. The Lakers won the trade. They got Luka Doncic, 25 years old. The future of the Lakers is secured after LeBron. They won the trade.
All right, so let's go back to that then. You're a longtime former player in the league. I mean, so well known, all that kind of stuff. You still follow very closely everything that's going on. You wake up that Sunday morning and you see that trade has taken. What was your reaction to it?
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
RP is a genius. That's how Rob Pelinka's a genius.
I mean, and in this case, he was a genius for just answering the phone. I mean, if we are to believe the way this story is told, right, they just called him up and just said, hey, I'd like to make this trade, and you're the only person I'm talking to about it.
Well, and the beauty of it, too, is, and I'm actually writing an article right now, with basically what the other 28 teams could actually have offered.
Oh.
And?
I mean, there's...
Give me a little sneak peek.
When does it come out?
Right when they play in Los Angeles, April 7th, I think.
Okay.
Listen, there's a list of guys you can go. Would Boston have offered Jaylen Brown? Would Cleveland have offered Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen? I mean, there's a list of players. They're all hypotheticals here, and I think they set the bar so high last year when they get to an NBA Finals, and then you trade a 25-year-old generational player, and now they're just competing to get into the play-in. I mean, that sets itself. I understand when you look on paper how it looks in the mindset. And Nico Harrison said, well, look how Cleveland has put their roster together. The 2 bigs, Mobley and Jarrett Allen. This is what we want to do with AD and Derek Lively here. But, man, you got to get to that point. You got to be at one of those contending teams, and right now they're not.
So Booze, projecting forward, this year obviously is a total loss. And as Bobby, I think, accurately said, they're going to be the piñata for this entire season and the offseason. That's just the lot in life they have at this moment. But that can change. Narratives change. The story has not been fully written. So with a healthy Anthony Davis, which is always a big if, with a healthy Kyrie Irving, and we hope that he comes back healthy, and the other pieces that they have there, see what Clay has left, the Gaffords and all those guys of the world. Like, what could this team be next year? I had people on this show that Monday after that trade telling me the Mavericks could win the title this year. Now, they all got hurt, and that was the end of that. But is that the makings of a team that could contend for a championship?
I actually like this team when they're completely healthy.
Right.
Kyrie was having an outstanding season. Mm-hmm. I think Gafford made a huge step from when he was with the Wizards to come to Dallas. Lively's did another step as well.
Right.
AD in the middle, the scoring, the rebounding, the assisting, the shooting of Klay Thompson. They had P.J. Washington. We forgot about him. He's like the forgotten man. Mm-hmm. They have great pieces on that team. Nico did a good job of putting a really good team together for now. So for next year, they're going to be a contender if they're healthy.
Send me an early look at that piece. I want to see who it is.
And going back to what Boo said, like, a lot of it will just depend on where Kyrie is. He's coming off the ACL, certainly when he comes back, as far as how he fits in, at least for that 3 quarters against the Rockets when AD's first game, like, that's who they could be. But the big question will always be, we could have got more. They should have got more, which I think they should have.
It was a great half hour. Boy, did they have a great 30 minutes. What a half hour they had. Which is, of course, the only time you can have a buzzer beater. I'm really struggling today. You know the point I'm trying to make. Maryland won a crazy game the other night. Got me thinking about the top 5 buzzer beaters that I can remember in NCAA tournament history. And at 5, I'm going to put Bryce Drew and Valparaiso against Ole Miss in '98, if only because this was just such a gorgeous play. It did not win a championship. It didn't lead to anything further than that, and so you can't put it any higher than 5. But the execution on the play is so spectacular, and then the dive from Bryce Drew into the middle of it. That's number 5. It is just such a gorgeous play to watch. At number 4, the freshman Jalen Suggs. This one coming in the Final Four. This is Gonzaga to beat UCLA. The bank was open as the clock expired, and Gonzaga would take that next step to the national championship game. Jalen Suggs, one of 4 freshmen ever to make a game-winning buzzer beater in NCAA tournament history. Again, that one came in the Final Four. Number 3, this is the most famous one. This might be the most famous play in college basketball history. The Laettner play to beat Kentucky. The 10 for 10 from the floor, the 10 for 10 from the line. The reaction, ridiculous. It's Krzyzewski and it's Pitino. It's such a ridiculously great and famous play. You would think it would be number 1, but the reality is we had 2 of them that won championships that ended the season. So those had to go ahead of it. Number 2, Chris Jenkins, Villanova, North Carolina. I had Jim Nance on the radio show, and he told me this was his favorite moment calling NCAA tournament games all those years. The little dump off for Jenkins, and Villanova beats North Carolina as the clock gets to 0 to win the national championship. One of 2 buzzer beaters to win the national title in history. The other is Lorenzo Charles from Wittenberg. Oh, it's a long way. I can remember it like it was happening yesterday. The 1983 championship, and Jim Valvano running around the floor looking for someone to hug after it happens. NC State knocking off Phi Slamma Jamma and Houston on the buzzer-beating dunk by Lorenzo Charles, the number 1 play, the number 1 buzzer beater, and maybe in its own way, the number 1 play in college basketball history. Now, Booz, you've been a part of a lot of great moments. You guys tend generally to blow people out when you were there, so you didn't have those. You have a reaction to this, and any bone to pick with my list here in my top 5?
I kind of agree with you with the Chris Jenkins shot over Carolina, but this Christian Laettner shot, the pass by Grant Hill.
It's so iconic.
I'm a Blue Devil, sue me. But that was incredible. The pass, the shot, he goes 10 for 10. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, it's iconic.
But to win a championship?
I wanted to put it number 1, but these 2, I mean, they won the titles. Now, this team wound up winning the championship, so that it wound up leading to that, and obviously they can't win a title without it happening. I'm not going to lie to you. I agonized over this.
It was a hell of a play.
If I told you how much of my day I spent yesterday trying to decide whether I should put the Laettner shot at number 1 or not, you would make fun of me because it suggests I really need to do other things in my life. But I figured if it ends a title game, then I think it has to go ahead of it. So I put Jenkins at 2 and Lorenzo Charles at number 1. Where's my Uncle Seth? Seth Greenberg, no relation, is with us. Uncle Seth, do you have any issue with the list?
I love your analysis, Greener, because I love the Bryce Drew. It was a great execution of a great play. And that's why I would actually put Chris Jenkins at number 1, because they actually did what they wanted to do. Archie Nico, he gets this little screen right here, pitch back the inbounder, trailing the play, bam, he knocks down to 3. That's exactly how it was designed. I'm not sure my man Derek Whitberg was thinking airball pass to Lorenzo Charles. I'm not sure Lorenzo Charles knew where he was supposed to be, but it was a great finish, but not a great play. Just like you put that first number 1, Bryce Drew, great execution. It's an old UB Brown play. The home run, hit, boom, kick it out, bam, knock down to 3. That's great. Execution means something. I would flip-flop those 2, and I kind of agree with Booz a little bit. 10 for 10, execution, Christian Laettner, knocking out Kentucky, all those things to get a chance to win a championship. But I like your pick. I would just flip 1 and 2.
I hear all the things.